You're listening to God Can I Hold a Dollar, the podcast brought to you from Reset Budgeting and Financial Coaching with Janine Victor McDade, owner and principal consultant. The podcast that bridges real world conversations, no shame, no shade, and the word of Christ all in one. Hey, good people. Janine Victor McDade here. I hope that you all have had a blessed Sunday. I promised I would make sure that I got you one more episode before August got out of here. It is literally a little after 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am exhausted. Right after I give you this, oh Lord, I'm just knocking over I'm knocking over the microphone, and I had under the weather, but I'm pressing through because I just got such a testimony to share, y'all. So bear with me. I talked about blessings for a great school year. It's been a wonderful school year thus far. I hope you all are experiencing a great first 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it has been for you. And what I've also shared with you all was some of our trials with the IRS and with, the gargantuan amount of taxes that came back in 2022 for that tax year shortly after myself and my husband got married. And so I have been on it's just been a ride. Let's say that. And not one of them wonderful fun rides where you got all the adrenaline and the woo. It's been a bumpy, rough, never ending roller coaster, twist, turn, dead end, turn around. It has been a ride. But through it all, what I share with you all on here is that even though there's temptation, even though bills are tight, even though with this, there are things that I personally was unable to do as a family. It didn't make sense to do because of this huge boulder of a bill that kind of just came out of nowhere. But all through it all, I said, Lord, you will get your tithe and that it's going to be okay. Nothing can stay down, right? What's down has to come up, and what's up eventually will come down. That's life. That's the ebbs and the flows. And what I know about God is that there are valleys and there are mountaintops. And in the valleys is where you build that character. You get a little bit closer to the Lord. Your faith is tested. It's in the valleys that you have an appreciation for the mountaintops and you can really relish getting to the mountaintop. Well, let me tell you all, I struggle, and probably struggle is not even the best word. I have such a faith in God that everything's going to be all right, that things are going to work out. It's an expectation, and I really try to make sure I check myself so that it's not taken for granted. I don't know if that makes sense to y'all. Comment in the comments if you understand what I'm saying, but like God always meets my needs. He answers prayer. It ain't never in the way I expect it to be. And so I expect him, but I expect him to answer my prayer, even if the answer is no, but I expect him to show up in my asks. And I now, understand that it's not always going to be instant. Sometimes things are instant. It's not often, it's rare. But I also expect like, okay, Lord, like you're going to do it in your time. This may take a long time, but like I'm going to see you in my trials. And maybe that's some maturity. Maybe that's like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. But I just have such a conviction that God is going to take care of everything. But I got to keep up my end. I got to do what I need to do. Yeah, I just expect him. I just expect him to do what he says. And that's to listen to me and answer my prayers and cover me as his child. So I share all of that with y'all because man, last Friday, I spent, oh, 2.5 hours, I think, 2.5 hours waiting on hold for the IRS. I literally was on hold driving to now, mind you, you get on there and it says, "Oh, we should answer your call in 30 to 45 minutes." Them was some bald-faced lies. But the IRS closes at 7 p.m. on Monday through Friday, I believe. They're open like 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 p.m. at night, Pacific Standard Time for me. And I literally stayed on hold all the way, till 6:45. I must have started at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, literally just working through, finishing my day, still, on my speakerphone, getting in the car, driving to my exercise class. Yeah, all with the IRS home music in my ear because I was like, I need to reach somebody. I've got to talk to them about this balance. I've got to talk to them about what's already been paid. Like, I've got to have a conversation with these folks and let's see what's going on. And Lord have mercy. I was literally in the middle of class, still had the AirPod in my ear, excuse me. And somebody actually came on, like it was right before they were about to close. And I ran into the bathroom, like I'm in mid, bicep curl, whatever. Ran into the bathroom and Lord, she couldn't hear me. So I'm, you know, trying to find a good place and the phone call dropped. And I was just like, "Oh my God, Lord." Like, I've been on hold at least 2.5 hours trying to reach somebody. Finally got somebody, and the phone call drops. Now, it was so close to 7 o'clock, y'all, that there was no way for me to try to call back to get someone. I'm in the middle of my exercise class. I just was like, "You know what? Whatever. Maybe that's not the pace person I was supposed to talk to." That would have been great for me to get that little piece of information or what have you, 2.5 hours previous, and I just wouldn't even been on the phone. But, felt a little defeated. It was Friday. They are closed Saturday and Sunday. So I had to wait all the way till Monday. And so Monday, I literally got on the phone at 6:30 in the morning. And I was like, maybe there's a queue I can jump in or something. But no, I called exactly at 7 a.m. And do you know what? I call at 7 a.m. I go through their prompts. At 7:02, it says, "We are experiencing high call volumes. Please choose another day to call back so that we can help and support you." And then it, of course, talks about go online or whatever. And I'm like, it is 7 o'clock in the morning. This is when you open and your message on the phone is to call back another day. I'm just like, "You know what? This is gonna be a day." And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna get somebody today. I'm going to get the right person today to have a conversation with and to discuss, what's going on." Because I got a piece of paper in the mail or whatever, and it had showed, that we had made a bit of a dent in the balance, but then they were adding about like 3,500 or something dollars worth of like failure to pay penalties and something else. And like I said, if you all have heard me talk about the IRS before, what have you, or paying your taxes on time, I'm gonna just give you a little refresher. All right. If you've never heard me talk about this, I will give this to you as well as we are approaching the end of the year. You are responsible for paying your taxes by the deadline due date. Generally, that is August 15th. Last year, it was August 18th. There was some grace and additional days that were added. Now, that is if you owe taxes to the government. Now, if you are due a refund, they don't care when you file that, to be honest, because they owe you. They got to send you money, but you got to wait for it. But if you owe money, if you owe back taxes, if you have not had enough taken out of your check and you need to pay the IRS, no matter if you file on time, if you do not pay it in full, they begin to charge you interest daily. Now, I won't go into percentages. I don't know if my percentages are different than the standard, but literally on my documentation, they have itemize amounts every month at 8%, 7%. So literally like 1 month it was, you know, $95. Another month it might have been $102 in penalties and interest. And literally every month that I don't pay the balance in full. Now, mind you, we're on a payment plan that was authorized by the IRS. But the IRS is not getting their full due. So they are going to charge interest until we pay the full amount. And the money and the dollars that they added on this document literally like had taken all of the progress that we had done in these few months. And I was like, what in the heck is this? So I called back again, and I would say 3 hours later, I got a gentleman that was pretty helpful telling me, okay, you're in this department. You got to talk to this department. Oh my goodness. There's a code so they can validate that they transfer you. It's a lot, but I was appreciative. I was happy to be able to speak to somebody. Now, I get this young lady. He transfers me over. He tells me, hey, I only see a balance that's like, $3,000 less than what I see. And I'm like, well, this paper says this. He said, let me transfer it to this department. So maybe it's 30 minutes. Not bad. And I get this young lady. Right off the top, I can tell she's a sister. And off the top, I can tell that she knows what she's doing. There is a way that people talk to you in the customer service industry, whatever it is that you are serving and assisting customers with. There is a way when you get on the phone and that person greets you and they ask you questions, they address you, you can tell that they are very astute in their information and in their role. And I was really like, okay, I appreciate having someone on here. Lo and behold, she is like, hey, I see the same balance he does, but let me dig a little further. Give me a little time. So I'm, back and forth and on hold. And she breaks down to me these balances that you see, the failure for penalty and the interest and what have you. She's like, this is what you will pay, or this is what has accrued up until this point. Once again, every day that the payment is not completed in full and the IRS has not received their money, they are going to charge an interest rate every day on the balance of what they have not received. And I tell you, that balance, like I said, was a smooth $3,500 of just added extra fees. So something caught my eye on the document, and it talked about hardship requests, or what have you. And I had not seen that before on any other documents. I could have missed it. I could go through my records and what have you, but I hadn't seen that before. And something told me to mention to her, like, well, the reason that, I'm in this payment arrangement is because in 2023, when this was due, I was laid off. So, I had to prioritize, keeping the roof over our heads and paying the bills and, making sure our family had what they needed in partnership with my husband. Like, that was the priority, not trying to pay the IRS this gargantuan, crazy amount of money we didn't even know where it came from. And she said, oh, okay, you're talking about an abatement. And let me tell you this, y'all, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you have to pay the IRS, number one, do it as expeditiously as you can. I mean, whatever it is you got to do, whatever it is you have to do, please do it and pay them as quickly as you can so that you are literally not just accruing additional fees for nothing. They charge by the day. The second thing, excuse me, forgive me, I told you it's after 11. The second thing is that you want to keep track of your paperwork. You want to keep track of the payments that you've made, and you want to be very mindful of making your payments on time. Make them on time, make them often, have them in auto pay, or if you don't, pay them on the day or even earlier. And in our case, we even would kind of just round it out. Like if it's $45, just send 350. The extra 5 is not gonna hurt you. It's gonna help you, even if it's an extra $5. So they both saw the same fees. Excuse me. They both saw the same amount. And then she said, "Oh, this is the accrual. This is this, and that." Talked about the abatement. She said, "Give me a moment." She came back and she said, Ms. Victor, I see that you have a really great compliance track record. That means I've been paying. I've been paying on time. I've been paying consistently. I've been paying the payment arrangement agreed amount every month. Let me tell you, this young lady, did whatever she needed to do in the system and said, yep, you qualify for an abatement. So I'm going to go ahead and forgive and wipe away 4,000. It was literally over $4,000. I think it might even be closer to 5,000. I'll have to look at my documents, but I mean, I would have been grateful for anything. There were two sets of fees. Let's say one was like 1,500 and the other was, 2,500 or whatever. You know, I would have been grateful if she had knocked out one set of the fees, just anything to not put us back behind the 8 ball. She wiped away more than what I saw in fees. But, and I don't know about you, but my experiences with the IRS, it's far and in between because I normally get a refund. I normally am not dealing with them on paying things. But my experience, my understanding of the IRS is that they are not in the practice, they are not in the business of removing fees so that you don't have to pay. They're in the business of collecting money, collecting fees. This is what they do. And to have an agent take a moment, look in my account, and then come back and wait and wipe away more than what I see that even could be due, that ain't nobody but God, y'all. That is the Lord. He didn't wipe the whole thing away. There is still some money to be paid to the IRS. There are still some things to be done. But I tell you that w- it re-energized my soul. It gave me faith back in humanity. It was, mm, it was a blessing. It was one of those blessings that I'm like, I know you're going to take care of me, God. I know you're going to take care of this. I know you're going to have your fingerprints on this. These are sometimes my prayers before I close my eyes and drift off to sleep. And he did it, y'all. I don't even know if he threw, but like, that's a blessing. That is such a blessing. It's such a blessing. And mind you, what I am paying back at this point, it's not such a behemoth anymore. It's just I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude and I'm just without words for how God shows up. And so I thank God for this young lady who, however, my call ended up in her queue, directed to her phone line in her ear. I'm so grateful for what she's done for me, you know, on behalf of the IRS. It gave me faith. So I'm going to stop rambling, y'all. I wanted to make sure that I got this out to y'all before it struck midnight. And yeah, it's about 11:32. But I just wanted to just say God is good. I wanted to share that with you all and share some details. Don't give up. I'm going to quote my boy Bam and my dear and wonderful Bishop Gordon Humphrey. Don't you give up. Keep on praying. Don't you give up. I know. Oh, I know God will answer. I know. I know God will answer. He answers prayer. Yes, he does. So wait on him. He takes a minute sometimes, y'all. It takes a minute, but he hears them. He hears them. He cares about them. And you do what you got to do. You keep doing your part while he's working on his. So I'm immensely grateful because that's not the outcome that I thought that I would have. at the end of that conversation, but I was diligent. I was committed to speak to somebody. And I just had to keep the faith that God was going to step in. And he stepped in right on time. And so, man, I can't tell it all, but God is good. He's so good. So you all have an amazing, amazing night if you're listening to this. If you are listening to this in the morning, it's September 1st. All right. Have a blessed September. Welcome in a new month with new expectations and new intention. I want to give a shout out. Today is my pastor's birthday. I was homesick and I could not be there to celebrate him in service today. But I just want to say happy birthday, Pastor. Thank you so much for all of the meat and all of the spread that you always have ready for us, whether it be Sunday morning, whether it be during a Bible story, right? Growing our minds. We call that the gym, right? Growing your mind, growing your mind in the word. And many times, y'all, some of the information that I give y'all literally is sparked by something pastor has shared over the pulpit or something he's pointed to or a scripture that he's referenced. So he's very much a part of a lot of the messaging of Reset. All right. Happy birthday, Pastor. God bless you. And let's look for minimum 75 more. All right, y'all. Have an amazing, amazing night. A wonderful September. I'll see you in the next month.